Los rebeldes hutíes de Yemen siguen atacando barcos de Estados Unidos en el Mar Rojo, pese a las represalias militares de Washington. El más reciente ocurrió este jueves contra un buque cisterna operado por Grecia, de propiedad estadounidense. Según reportó el Comando Central de Estados Unidos, el barco salió ileso de la agresión, pero preocupa porque es el tercer ataque a un carguero estadounidense en lo que va de la semana. Nos comunicamos ahora con Sal Mergui en Tel Aviv para que nos cuente sobre el alcance de estos ataques. Sal, buenas tardes, adelante.
Hola Iván, pues continúa el intercambio de amenazas y sobre todo misiles entre los rebeldes hutíes y Estados Unidos. La milicia proiraní en Yemen ha reivindicado el ataque, como tú decías, contra un barco estadounidense sin provocar heridos o muertos, tampoco daños materiales importantes. Y esto llegaba horas después de que Estados Unidos reivindicara un ataque contra un dispositivo de 14 misiles balísticos antibuque de los hutíes que, según Estados Unidos, estaban a punto de ser activados contra sus intereses en el Mar Rojo. Una de las portavoces del Pentágono, Sabrina Singh, afirma que sus ataques, ya son 5 rondas de ataques contra los hutíes, han logrado degradar y reducir la capacidad ofensiva de los hutíes en sus ataques contra también barcos vinculados a Israel en el Mar Rojo. Recordemos que los hutíes, esta milicia proiraní, lanzó ataques desde el inicio del ataque de la ofensiva israelí contra Hamas en la franja de Gaza. Singh afirma también que no están en guerra con los hutíes, sino simplemente buscan defender el Mar Rojo. El portavoz de los hutíes, Mohammed Abdel Salah, afirma que no, que el objetivo de Estados Unidos de esas agresiones es proteger a Israel en su guerra contra Hamas. Y hablando de la guerra, Iván, hace unos minutos una conversación telefónica entre el primer ministro israelí Benjamin Netanyahu y el presidente de Estados Unidos Joe Biden, la primera vez que hablan desde hace casi un mes. Biden, como sabes, pide a corto plazo que Israel empiece ya a hablar del día después de lo que pasa en la franja de Gaza y más a medio y largo plazo que acepte la creación de un estado palestino. Pues bien, anoche Netanyahu volvió a negar esta posibilidad desde su punto de vista. Afirma también que la ofensiva debe continuar, hoy ya es su día número 105, contra Hamas, hasta acabar con la milicia palestina proiraní en Gaza y también liberar a los 136 secuestrados en ataque de Hamas el pasado 7 de octubre. La autoridad palestina afirma que esto es un paso más de Israel hacia lo que llama el abismo en toda la región que estamos viendo estos días, una región con muchos frentes en el norte, entre Irán y Pakistán, entre Hezbollah e Israel y también entre Hamas e Israel. Iván.
Sal, justamente quería preguntarte, ¿qué reacción ha causado este total rechazo del primer ministro israelí Benjamin Netanyahu a un Estado palestino? Porque Estados Unidos no es el único país que está abogando por la creación de este Estado palestino.
Bueno, realmente no es una posición nueva de Netanyahu. En los últimos años Netanyahu y gran parte de la derecha están en contra de una creación de Estado palestino, pero consideran que se podría a nivel de seguridad dañar mucho el interés de Israel y sobre todo después del 7 de octubre afirman que un Estado palestino con control palestino de la seguridad ahí y no de Israel provocará, según Netanyahu, que haya una nueva matanza, según sus palabras, como la que hubo el 7 de octubre. Por supuesto, el portavoz del presidente palestino, Mahmoud Abbas, Nabil Abu Rubeina, considera que es un paso atrás y que tanto Israel como en general todo Oriente Medio necesita la creación de un Estado palestino en las fronteras de 67 para que haya estabilidad tanto en esta zona concreta como en toda la región de Oriente Medio, desde el Mar Rojo hasta el Líbano. Iván.
Sal, gracias por estar con nosotros. Era Sal Mergui en vivo desde Tel Aviv que nos ha acompañado.
Relentless strikes piercing the night sky over Khan Yunis. Gaza, once again, plunged into eerie darkness. Endless tragedies on the ground, obscured by the longest communications blackout imposed on the Strip thus far. What little video is still able to reach the world paints a troubling picture. At the Al-Nasr hospital in Gaza's south, not only one of the last still functioning here, but also where the World Health Organization says some 7,000 people were sheltering. Families, yet again, have been forced to flee. Civilians and patients seen here carrying their children and belongings. As Israeli forces, who said they were targeting a Hamas rocket launched against the IDF from the hospital complex, close in.
There is heavy fire at the Al Nasser hospital and in the vicinity. We're seeing huge violent bombings here. We've been trying to share video of what is happening from the highest point at the hospital, but as you can see, the bombardment is severe.
Israel maintains it is targeting Hamas infrastructure and tunnels where hostages are said to have been held, which Hamas denies. As the sun rises in Gaza, the death toll also climbs. Families carrying the bodies of those who did not survive the night. My life, this mother cries over her child. Tiny bodies wrapped in shrouds, carried in the arms of bereft parents. Now amongst the more than 10,000 children said to have been killed in a war they had no part in. Those figures, provided by the Hamas-run health ministry in Gaza, grow more shocking with each passing day. More than 24,000 people killed in just over 3 months. Israel says that some 9,000 Hamas fighters were among the dead, though CNN is unable to independently verify this claim.
These were peaceful people. They were sleeping in their homes. The Israelis told us to go to the south, so we came. But there's no safe place in Gaza. Not in the south, not in the north, not in the middle. Every area is being struck. Everywhere is dangerous.
The vast majority of Gaza's 2.3 million population are now internally displaced, concentrated in the south, where Israel's bombardment is only intensifying. The unfolding catastrophe in Gaza, now characterized by the UN's humanitarian office as a stain on the world's collective conscience. A war, they say, conducted with almost no regard for the impact on civilian life. And now, with little aid getting into the Strip, a war that is pushing Gaza past the brink of famine. Neda Bashir, CNN, in Beirut.
It was a moment of division, pain, and trauma for many Israelis. The end of Gush Katif, a cluster of Israeli settlements in Gaza dismantled by the government in 2005. Thousands of settlers forced out of their homes under the disengagement law that saw an end to Israel's presence in the Gaza Strip. But after nearly 2 decades of yearning for a return, the movement to do so now appears more emboldened than ever. Among no less than Israeli troops themselves. Social media is now awash in images like these. One of Israel's most popular musicians, to the cheers of troops, sings about that return. And moving the Nova Festival, scene of a Hamas massacre, to Gaza's beaches. From inside Gaza, soldiers proudly displaying the orange color of protest against the 2005 disengagement. Here, soldiers with a banner that reads, "Only settlement would be considered victory." And in this video, troops announcing the symbolic re-establishment of a former settlement.
Amen. Jewish sovereignty, Jewish governance, and of course, Jewish people being able to live in this ancestral piece of land. Arabs, if they are post-jihad, pro-Israel, and want to live that good life in that beautiful soil, there should be an opportunity for that. But anti-Israel, pro-jihad Arabs have got to leave. And they're going to have to find a different place to go.
From the front lines, a message to the Prime Minister.
We are occupying, deporting, and settling. Do you hear that, Bibi? Occupying, deporting, and settling.
Bibi, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, has yet to unveil his government's plans for post-war Gaza, but he's dismissed calls to re-establish settlements as, quote, unrealistic.
Israel has no intention of permanently occupying Gaza or displacing its civilian population.
But those calls for expelling Gazans and reviving settlements are coming from powerful far-right members of his coalition.
We will not be able to rule there without re-establishing a settlement. The majority of them want to emigrate. They just need to be allowed to do it.
The comments have been concerning enough to draw rebuke from U.S. and Arab governments, and many within Israel who say they're widely unacceptable. But voices of the movement are growing louder by the day. Ultra-nationalist and religious parties bringing that discussion into the Knesset. While these voices are by no means a majority in Israel, they are powerful and have been advancing their extremist agenda.
Ideas that often seem very extreme at a certain phase in Israel's history can over time become increasingly normalized, very incrementally.
Palestinians fear this is the unspoken plan.
There is only one solution for the Gaza Strip.
Gaza has become unlivable. The north, a decimated wasteland. Around half of all buildings across Gaza damaged or destroyed. Nearly its entire population forced to move time and time again. 1.9 million people squeezed into a tiny part of the enclave, not knowing if they'll ever be allowed to return to their homes. And the far right has been promoting relocating Palestinians as a humanitarian idea.
We must promote a solution to encourage the emigration of the residents of Gaza. This is a correct, just, moral, and humane solution.
For that, Israel is facing accusations of violating international laws, acts that could amount to genocide.
There's an opening for those ministers, media people, and so forth on the Israeli right to say, well, the most humanitarian solution is to remove that population or to encourage them, as they say, to move out of Gaza. If that happens, then this entire scenario that I'm talking about will be seen as ethnic cleansing. And ethnic cleansing is always on the verge of genocide.
A view rejected by the likes of Hebron settler leader and Return to Gush Katif activist Yishai Fleischer.
It is a time of opportunity to change more people's minds here in Israel and to bring more unity and brotherhood in our peoplehood.
Do you feel that this vision, what you believe in, what should happen, has become more of a possibility, more realistic right now, post October 7th?
I'd love to think so, yes. But Israel isn't very much in conversation right now. There's definitely a think out happening. People are like waking up to they're trying to open their minds.
Giovanna Caracci, CNN, London.